Running on the 36-hour or the 24-hour days today. Then we're happy to be here. Thank you for showing up again for the Teaching by Design panel. Madam Yesterday is online already. I love your headgear.
Thank you, ma.
Did you get my voice notes?
Voice notes? I think I did, but I've not opened. Like the morning is starting a bit. It's 7:45 here.
But then it's fine.
Yeah.
When you hear it, you laugh.
Okay. Because I needed to do some morning runs.
Teaching by Design panel. We are happy to have you here. The good thing is that every year, we started last year, and this year we have observed remarkable growth in number of papers and number of presentations. Before we start, we would like to let you know that we would like to have you as part of our growth. And then, so I don't know if you don't mind giving us your details so that we'll add you to our network, our community of classes on WhatsApp. I hope you don't mind. Thank you. So I will need a paper and pen so that just your WhatsApp number won't stress you and your data is secure. You can assure your privacy of your data. So we'll add you to our group where we are growing and learning best practices. And then, thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Are the presenters in here?
Just check. Thank you.
Mr. Alabede, you will read the biography today.
So unfortunately, the presenters, I'm not sure we got the bio of any of them after sending them email.
That's fine.
So maybe when they want to start their presentation,
they
can introduce themselves.
Okay, I will use the one I have on the WhatsApp group here. And then you get ready to take us on a deep dive into the presentations once they start.
Sounds like a good plan.
So welcome to the Teaching by Design panel. Our theme is the role of educators in shaping African education, continuities, and discontinuities. So it's organized by Kola Maotaiwo and Yetunde Alabede of Michigan State University. Today we're going to be having 4 presentations. The first being instructional delivery, contact, and entrepreneurial skills acquisition among secondary school students in Osun State. So, Aziz Babatunde Adebaki, are you here?
He's on Zoom, yeah.
Sheikh Aziz Babatunde Adebaki, thank you. We are pleased to have you. Thank you for catching up with us. Number 2 presentation is Indigenous Knowledge-Based Learning Package, School Teachers' Pedagogical Enhancement, and School Environmental Literacy in Ibadan by Samuel Babalola. Samuel Babalola here. Thank you, sir. You said you sent your, it to the school? When, sir?
That was yesterday.
Okay, let me look for it. So,
just
quickly resend.
forward.
Yeah, forward. Let's see who catches up with us. Samuel Babalola is a lecturer at the Department of Arts and Social Sciences Education, University of Ibadan. The curriculum and instructional design expert, teaching curriculum studies at undergraduate and postgraduate levels. His research interest is primarily in the area of solving the challenges of sustainability by using African science. Dr. Samuel Babalola, please can you find your face? Please let's clap for him. He's our second presenter. The third presenter, Enhancing English Language Proficiency Among Secondary School Students, Challenges and Strategies by Rebecca Martin Diaolu. Madam Rebecca, are you here? Are you online? Oh, wow.
No, we don't have Madam Rebecca here.
Okay. I hope she's able to join in. And the fourth presenter, Reimagining Teaching Design Panel. by Bonaventure Ebobeta of the University of Nigeria. This is Bonaventure here. Is Obeta here on the...
Bonaventure is also not on Zoom. It's only Dr. Adebakin that is on Zoom with me and other attendees.
So let's keep the ball rolling. We have two presenters here. That's strange. I think it's a long time we found people not turning up, right?
Yeah, I think it's
I'm not sure
unusual.
we've had
Or
this.
maybe
It's
they're
unusual.
finding the location or something.
Let's see how it goes and see. So, Dr. Aziz Babatunde Adebakin, you have the floor. You have 10 minutes, and then, as usual, we do all the presentations and we take the question and answer session. So I hand over to my partner, my co-chair, Madam Yetunde Alabede. Thank you, ma.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Please unmute, sir. Please unmute, sir. Dr. Adebakin, you have to unmute. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Good afternoon, panel of judges, fellows, co-participants. I'm Shegun Alege, representing my supervisor, Dr. Adebakin Aziz. I'm supposed to be live and physical there, but because of I have a foot injury, and that really disturbs me from coming down. I'm very sorry. I'm speaking on instructional contact, instructional delivery contact, and entrepreneurial skills acquisition among secondary school students in southwestern Nigeria. Education serves as a pathway for national development, economic growth, and self-reliance of school leavers, which in turn will build up for students. And to this, it is designed to improve the standard of living, which when designed as educational program, in the case of entrepreneurship education, such that one, we have a look at the primary education and secondary education. It's secondary education will now serve as a link between a primary and university education in order to build up entrepreneurial skills. And that with these, there are 34 entrepreneurship education introduced into Nigerian secondary education in 2008. Implementation started in 2009. Some of these entrepreneurship education are the likes of cosmetology, animal husbandry, stenograph, carpentry, and so lots of. And so there is a distinction between entrepreneurship education, which is to create wealth, as well as self-reliance, unlike in the case of many people looking at it as vocational education. And so that with this, at least one of these entrepreneurship education of the 34, one is expected to be offered by students. And for this purpose, many schools around in southwestern Nigeria don't go beyond offering of that one particular subject, instead of creating plethora of subjects in which students may be interested. And these ought to boost the level of entrepreneurial skills that is expected to be acquired. And on these notes now, the major entrepreneurship programs will bring about teaching methodology, and that the teaching methodology of entrepreneurship education shouldn't be taken as that of the traditional subjects offered in secondary schools. Albeit, many may be difficult to separate it by research earlier conducted, and that with these thoughts now, entrepreneurial skills should involve the acquisition of ability to learn and a process of acquiring specific values, attitudes, and behavior that will entrench or bring about or imbibe learning, values, creation, and wealth. And these entrepreneurial skills expected to be obtained by students or measures in this context should be innovation, problem solving, marketing, such as buying and selling, location of areas to buy and obtain materials, others such as planning and competencies should be available to the students. And so that the design of entrepreneurship education in secondary school is pivotal in acquiring skills through entrepreneurship education. The major mindset of this purpose of this study is, one, to bring about the instructional delivery. Is it able to deliver in appropriate terms the entrepreneurial skills, even if at all it's a subject that should be taken, so that the number of periods used in this case in Osun State will be 45 minutes, which is the actual time frame given for the taking of the particular subject. And that from these now, teachers are expected to interface with the students majorly. 2 periods are being offered, and that's maximum of 90 minutes per week. And many students would have to engage in practical sessions in the real sense, may not be available, but instructional delivery and contacts in this respect are expected to be part of imbibing entrepreneurial skills. The 3 objectives were set by the researchers. 1, to examine the influence of instructional delivery on entrepreneurial skills acquisition, examining the instructional content and entrepreneurial skills acquisition, and examining the influence of instructional contacts and frequency of entrepreneurial skills. 2 research hypotheses were formulated. The study covers Osun State, and the major area is Ife East Senatorial District, which we call Ife-Ijesha Senatorial District. The study aimed at having a research influence of the entrepreneurial skills acquisition and instructional delivery contacts. The population comprised 27,377 students in 194 schools in 10 local government areas of Ife-Ijesha constituency of Osun State. The study sample comprised 60 entrepreneurship students selected from 6 schools in 3 local government areas of the state. Multi-stage sampling procedure was employed to select 3 local government areas, which was randomly selected with the purpose of getting equal chance of representation of the population. 10 students were purposively selected, and these are students who take entrepreneurship education subjects. Consequently, the researchers designed an instrument titled Instructional Delivery Contact and Entrepreneurial Skills Acquisition Questionnaire. There was the results as followed. There was no significant testing the hypothesis 1. There was no significant influence on entrepreneurial skills acquisition among secondary school students. The second hypothesis, there is no significant influence of instructional delivery and frequency of contact with educational students. The study found that instructional delivery contact does not exert measurable influence of entrepreneurial skills development, does not exert measurable influence of entrepreneurial skills. And this is as a result of the fact that factors such as inappropriate number of periods available for teacher-student interaction, inability to have sufficient practical sessions, the other factors of not using the appropriate skills acquisition, interaction, volunteerism, and in the case of engaging in learning over time. And so that the study found that many recommendations now, study recommends that policymakers and educators should consider the use of other innovative means, technical aspects, in order to elicit the level of students' entrepreneurial skills, other than waiting on the traditional method that I'm to teach, were to teach this particular concept and we'll go with it. Policymakers, educators, government agencies are expected to look into getting more subjects introduced into the schools, so that it will not just be a subject. Oh, we're just to take a subject and all the students are expected to take it. But sometimes some of the students may have disinterest in that particular entrepreneurship subject, and that once the study it mentioned that we can improve on this. Thank you very much. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much, Dr. Adebakin, representative.
And Shegun Alege.
Mr. Shegun, okay. So I think because of time, I'm wondering if we'll move to the next presenter, but I don't know if Dr. Amauta will have something to say before we jump to the next presenter.
I think we should just go so we have enough time to
You said what, ma'am?
and give feedback.
Okay, we should ask question now.
No, I said we should move to the second presentation so we have enough time for questions and other conversations.
Yeah, sounds good. So our second speaker, I want to be sure if Dr. Samuel Babalola is around.
That's very right. That's right.
Here?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, so Dr. Babalola will be presenting on indigenous knowledge-based learning package, school teachers' pedagogical enhancement, and students' environmental literacy in Ibadan. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to draw your attention to the fact that there is a modification to the title. So what I'm presenting now is assessment of indigenous knowledge inclusion in instructional delivery during the teaching of environmental concepts in primary schools in Ibadan Metropole. As we know, one of the most significant threats to global sustainability, please next slide. Global sustainability is the issue of climate change. And these issues causing them revolves around pollution, deforestation, biodiversity loss, and many more. And Ibadan, which happens to be the largest city in West Africa, is confronted with environmental challenges caused by continuous practices of open defecation, waste disposal in rivers and major waterways, dumping indiscriminate dumping of refuse in public spaces, and and much more. These practices have caused serious environmental damage, also outbreak of diseases, has been reported. Cases of cholera and Lassa fever has been on the rise in recent times. There have also been flooding. If you are familiar with Ibadan very well, you know that this is a recurrent thing that happens almost every now and then. And some public spaces, public green spaces are being degraded. And all of this coming from the fact that there is a poor knowledge of or awareness of what people should do about maintaining proper sanitation in the environment. Over the years, the government, have responded by introducing what we all know as environmental education to curb some of these practices. But we found that has, of course, also not been sufficient. And what we found was the fact that some issues that are raised in the curriculum as environmental problems are actually not contextual when we look at environmental challenges being faced within the Ibadan metropolis. We have issues of climate change, talking about wildfire, talk about some very foreign environmental hazards like chemical pollution, talk about volcanic eruption, tsunami. All of these issues are not issues that we are grappling with in Africa. So we are in a situation where we have a curriculum addressing environmental issues, but they are not addressing our contextual environmental problems. So students are taught quite well about environmental related issues, but the knowledge that they are acquiring cannot solve their own immediate problems. So this disconnect limits students' conceptual understanding and engagement with environmental concepts. It also reduces the effectiveness of formal environmental education in actually fostering environmental literacy. In essence, what I'm trying to explain is the fact that environmental education is not delivering on its mandate because there is a situation where there is no alignment in the curriculum. So, indigenous knowledge systems rooted in the cultural and ecological heritage of communities offer practical methods. So, how do we then navigate out of this problem? So, from literature, we found that to solve the problem, we can look at indigenous ways. And what are the indigenous ways of solving the problem? Over the years, our forefathers have a way of solving the environmental problem. Environmental problem is not a new thing. The elders, our foreparents, they have ways of coping with some of these problems. They have ways of managing the environment before all of these issues started coming. So we are looking at a way where if some of these concepts over the years have been proven to be reliable, if they are introduced to students at the early age, what would there be any effects of this in their environmental consciousness? Therefore, the focus of this study is to assess indigenous knowledge inclusion in teaching environmental concepts in primary schools in Ibadan and examine the perception of teachers talking about the efficacy of this concept in teaching environmental literacy. A second objective of the study is to access the inclusion of indigenous knowledge system in instructional delivery of environmental concepts. Please take me to the methodology. So the study utilized a qualitative research design primarily to assess teachers' level of indigenous knowledge relevant for the teaching of environmental concepts. If teachers are to teach environmental concepts, what is the level of their knowledge when it comes to environmental related concepts? And how can they leverage this knowledge to deliver effective instruction talking about environmental literacy? The population comprised of social studies teachers and basic science teachers from primary schools in Ibadan metropolis. Only 12 of them participated in the study. They were proposed possibly selected. Only teachers who teach basic science and social studies, because these are, when you look at the curriculum, it is in these subjects that we have elements of environmental education. And so the study limited it to those teachers. And so an instrument was designed, an interview guide was designed and was used in interviewing the teachers to ask them about their level of indigenous knowledge and what they feel, and to ask them if they feel that indigenous knowledge will help in solving environmental problems. The criteria used in selecting these teachers, they must register with TRCN, they must have taught at least for 5 years. All of these criteria are stated in the study. And we also, during the interview, we took a recording of the conversation, and this was taken using an audio gadget, and this was transcribed and was thematically analyzed. The results was the data was thematically analyzed and was presented. Results, please. So findings. Results shows that teachers' knowledge of indigenous knowledge system of relevant for teaching environmental concepts are presented in this area. Number one is that teachers have a very good knowledge of waste management. They understand how waste should be managed, especially using the indigenous perspective. The majority of the teachers who give us the AWI, the proverbs, the poems that had to do with taking care of the environment. One of them is what do I have here? A lot of them, taboos, taboos, some of the taboos that our forefathers had to safeguard the environment. Okay, I was trying to remember one of them. It's ẹni tó bá gbá ilẹ̀ nílẹ̀ máa ń mọ́ fún, something like that. Ẹni tó gbá ilẹ̀ nílẹ̀ ń mọ́ fún. We also have several of such that the teachers, were able to give to us. We also have, for conservation of forest resources, teachers had a good understanding of indigenous knowledge system applicable to tree planting, conservation of forests, wind control, and things like that have to do with conservation of forest resources. We also had what had to do with management of what do we call it now? Drainage system. Teachers had very adequate knowledge of some of these things. Then even how to build your house, how to plant your trees, teachers had a very good understanding. But there are limitations. Teachers, even though they have a good knowledge, they find it difficult to integrate this knowledge into their instructional delivery during environmental teaching. One of the major limitations is that they are always in a hurry to cover the curriculum. And so going into many details of indigenous knowledge system, they felt it will slow down their pace of covering the curriculum. That's number one. Number two is that it is not yet a policy at the level of the school administration system that teachers should include indigenous knowledge system in the way they deliver instruction. So, for instance, up until from primary 1 to primary 3, language of immediate environment is expected to be used in teaching primary students. From primary 4, they are expected to be using English, to teach some of these students. So, and to a large extent, espousing indigenous knowledge system, we demand speaking in Yoruba, using Owe, using Ori, using some of these things to teach these students. which the teachers feel will be going against the policy document that is regulating instructional delivery at this level. From the study, we found that teachers had a very good knowledge of indigenous knowledge system, of environmental literacy, and all of these details. And this presents a strong justification for the inclusion of indigenous knowledge system into the formal curriculum. What needs to be done is that even though we have been able to see that teachers have it, the government can take it a little step further by, number one, making it a policy, and also refreshing the teachers' knowledge. So it is not a case of where teachers are novices about indigenous knowledge system relevant for teaching environmental literacy. There is a level of knowledge, but for it to spread across, government can, give a refresher training for teachers who are already in schools teaching. And for those who are pre-service teachers, this can be integrated into their teacher preparation programs. However, despite teachers' demonstration of a high level of indigenous knowledge for teaching environmental concepts, the inclusion of indigenous knowledge system in instructional delivery of environmental concepts was not satisfactory. The reason why it was not satisfactory, I have already explained. Next slide, please. Yes. So the barriers inhibiting the inclusion of indigenous knowledge system in the teaching of environmental concepts, as observed, are linguistic, they are cultural, they are also historical. Linguistic, I have explained that they cannot use. Then cultural, in the sense that in some classes, we have a situation where we have Hausa, we have Igbo, because Ibadan is a metropolitan city. So we have a situation where you have several students from different tribes being in class. So this presents a challenge. And of course, the limitation of government policies that will not allow the inclusion of indigenous knowledge yet in the curriculum. We hope that as we keep pushing, that the government will listen and this will be included in what we do. Next slide. All right, next slide, please. So I want to thank you for listening. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your presentation. Do we want to check if we have the third presenter, or they are still not here? Dr. Rebecca also. Martin Diaolu. Is she here?
Can you click on the panelist? Okay, you are 3 here already.
3 years.
So we want to be sure if the other person, Dr. Bonaventure, if they are around. Do we have them?
No, we don't have. All we have
And
is
we don't,
the chair
Dr. Babalola.
And Dr. Babalola.
So I think maybe we can do the question and answer session now.
Can we do the Mentimeter first then? So we can share at the end before the question and answer. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, I wasn't sure if people want to do that, but do you still have the QR code, or you want me to share my screen?
We have it here, but then if it's
okay,
possible to share, fine.
I will share it, yeah, because of the person on Zoom.
And respond based on the presentations of today.
1 second, please.
Are you tired of scanning? Okay, today,
please don't.
Our audience.
Yes, ma'am.
Are trying to scan.
Ma? Is it working? Okay, so I am not allowed to share my screen.
Can you scan
and that means
Try.
It's not allowed. So they need to allow me. I need access to be able to share screen.
Try it again.
Please try again.
Thank you. Okay.
Please help scan so that we'll display
it's saying sharing is not turned on. Okay. Oh, multiple share can. I think it's just enabled. Please let me know if you can see it. We couldn't get, can you see it now?
Yes, we can have it. We have it.
Yeah, is it working?
Thank you.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
just can to say something to the Mentimeter. These are teaching.
Yeah, the prompts are there.
Thank you. Thank you.
Is it working? And even people on Zoom.
Wait.
We have.
It's working.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
It's a QR code. Use your QR code,
Your phone, the
QR
camera.
scanner.
Okay, I'll scan. Okay. I can send the link to if the QR code is not.
It says copy the link. Yes, click on that link. I need to laptop. You need to copy. You didn't look. It's let me can see. I did the same thing. Once you need your own motion, you don't have to open it.
So your camera can identify if I was trying to.
Thank you. All right, please respond. That's it.
Our phone is not.
You want me to stop sharing?
It's not sharing. Kindly help out.
What should I help out with?
Enemies, please. All right. I think we should go ahead. Dr. Etunde, just like it is found in every classroom, I can see a kind of the classroom is not warm enough for our QR code. And as educators, what are we supposed to do when this happens? I see some students are not interested in the QR code. I'm saying this I'm saying this because this is a teaching innovation session. Every movement you are doing here is being observed as part of learning. So I needed to share with her. Did you get what I said? Okay,
I heard you. So in such instances, because
we did it yesterday.
Like the conference session, so just go ahead with it.
Yeah, that's how we wrote design on our panel. We actually do not want to go to the traditional route. Yeah. And I hope you understand that. It's a conference, fine. But if you look at our call, we don't want to go traditional, sir. We want to be innovative.
Traditional.
Okay, sir.
Having conversations in conference verbally, never traditional.
All right.
It's the norm. It's like saying the House of Assembly now they should be conversation.
And is there any rule anywhere that says they shouldn't?
Esther,
No.
But then it's fine. My link has opened. Please help me answer that thing. She will show the feedback from the room.
our goal is to show it for people to
She's
see
thrown it
and
out.
to make
She's thrown it.
connections.
Yes.
Our goal is for us to see what people are thinking, make connections, then we will still have conversation that has to do with the questions that they have. It's not that we are limiting people, and it's not that we are not having the conversation. It's about bringing other strategies into what we do so that it will be in our teachers' toolkit and we can incorporate some of these things in our classroom. In our panel, we are talking about the research, but we are also looking at the pragmatic aspect of it. How are we making it practical? So that is what we are trying to do. It's not that we are shutting people down from not talking, which is what conference is about. I don't know if that makes sense, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
And this was the one we did yesterday.
Yeah, what you get yesterday? Oh, and we're going to do it tomorrow, and tomorrow's one, I will even look for you.
Yeah.
I think so. But we actually have a little time today. That's why I relaxed. Yesterday was different.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's now time for. She wants to, Dr. Alabede, she wants to see it. You need to zoom it out. I could not read it too. Some people in the room could not read it. Please zoom it out to see the thought.
Oh, okay. So the one I'm sharing now,
and she also has a question for you later when it's time. Please share that the thought, the Mentimeter. Mentimeters
if people were able to do, these are the results.
Exactly. So these are the thoughts. I wish we had everything. Let me know. I'll open it for you. While doctor, you can leave that on the screen while we go on with question and answers.
But I need to say that this was from yesterday. Nobody has submitted for today. So if they're looking at anything, this is the one from yesterday for them to see what we are trying to do.
Yesterday, what did we ask yesterday? I'll show you now. I'll give you a screenshot now. All right. Thank you so much. Now it's time for questions and the academic rigor we want to hear. So questions number 1, number 2, sir. That is feedback. Number 3, 4. Okay, we have 4 questions. So go ahead.
Hi, everyone. This question is for Professor Dr. Yetunde. So we met at LSA in Chicago. This is the word out there. Yeah,
Mrs. Dauda.
Yes, it's good to see you. So, we've been having this conversation about the role of parents, right? And part of my conversation with you was how I can better support, my kids, all 4 of them, learning. And we had a very long discussion, and we attempted this digital situation whereby my son would call her daughter, but it was very challenging, right? So now we are here talking about, how we promote indigenous knowledge, but what are the role of parents? How can parents also support teachers? Because it's a very community-oriented project in terms of this going back to our indigenous ways and incorporating this strategically within different systems. So what are the role of parents?
Thank you. I assume that's for him, right? Okay. Have you taken notes? Let's have it to the end. Number 2, sir.
Yeah, my question. Good day, everyone.
Okay.
My question goes to the first speaker. First speaker
is online.
Okay. Can you hear me? Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I try to listen to him very well. I want to find out what design did you use? Is it a partial experimental design or use a triple random system? If you use a partial experimental design, at that space of that, were you able to organize a 2 classes using teaching the two classes differently. If that is not the case, if you use a survey design, that means you analyze the opinion of the student. If that is the case, so what is their opinion about the selection of the skills that they are not involved? Are they involved in selecting the skill to be taught in school? Is that part of why they are not interested in doing it? Then what is their opinion about teachers' competency to teach the skills that are in the curriculum? Then, if that is the case again, what is the opinion of the student about the availability of infrastructure to be able to teach that skills? Yeah, that's what I want to find out. Thank you.
I hope you got the question.
Please, did you get the question,
Did you get
Mr.
the question,
Shegun?
sir?
Mr. Shegun, did you get it?
Yes, I got some, but the network was fluctuating. But I got some, so I will be able to answer that. Do I answer
Do you have
straight
access?
away?
Yeah, please wait. They can help us type it in the Zoom,
audio,
in the WhatsApp chat
network.
too, and you can read it there.
Yeah.
Okay, number
Ma?
3.
They can put Dr. Amo.
Yes,
Maybe
ma'am.
we can have somebody who is in WhatsApp chat to please help us type the question for Mr. Shegun in the WhatsApp group, and he can check it there.
Is he on the group? Please, Mr. Shegun, are you on the LSA 22
WhatsApp group?
No, I'm not.
I don't think
He's
so.
not. He's not. And the network is bad. He couldn't hear
Would
the
you want to
question.
do
Maybe
a
they
quick
can
recap
repeat it.
of your question? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was asking, what design do you use? Is it survey design or quasi experimental? That's my first question. Then, if it is a survey design, I was asking, what is the opinion of the students about the selection of the skills? You are talking about the, yeah. Then what's your opinion? Are you there with me? Hello?
Yes, I can. I am, sir.
Okay. Then 2.
Yes,
what's
I
the
am.
opinion of the learner about the competency of the teachers to teach those skills? Then, and the third one is, what is the opinion of the student about the infrastructural that are needed to be able to deliver? Thank you.
I hope you got it now.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Hold on.
Yes, I do. Do I need to answer? Okay.
Not yet.
Reflect on it and get ready. We'll tell you when to answer. Number 3, I think Dr.
Good afternoon. Well done to all the presenters. Of course, my question has been, and I'm glad that there's still an individual that addresses indigenous knowledge. On a lighter mood, I told Dr. Babalola, since we have met in 1 or 2 groups, and I know that is a curriculum person. On a lighter mood, I said I wanted to ask you a question, but I was scared of you. On a lighter mood, anyway.
Yeah.
So what's he addressed it? What I want to suggest is that there's a need, a suggestion. There's a need for review of the curriculum if you want indigenous knowledge to be applied in our schools, because it will not fit in. He mentioned it while he was discussing. That's one of the challenges, because there's a scheme that the teacher has to follow. When you are doing addition this week, next week is going to be subtraction. The following week, multiplication, and maybe Pythagoras theorem that will follow, among others. So you have to follow that. I'm a teacher, a grassroots teacher. My experience spans through secondary school to university, so I know the detail of what we're talking now. So if we continue with the present curriculum, we will not be able to achieve our indigenous what we are projecting. So there's need for review of our, and we mentioned it in my group that the policymakers should include the stakeholders, the teachers on the field. People making curriculum, they are not on the field. They don't know what to change. They will just change it, and it will keep the students off balance. Even when you look at the present subjects students are learning in secondary school, it does not prepare them for the future. They cannot diversify easily, as we did in my case. You can be a science student and come up as an arts. You can be a science student and come. So, but now, so review, policymakers, invite these people on the field to be involved. That's my contribution.
Thank you very much. Sorry, sir, just 1 minute. So last, day first, they were going home with Eric. I think, we're talking about AI or no AI. I said, Eric, it seems as if for every season, for every time, there's always something to talk about. Because I remember that it's this same set of people that came up to say, why am I learning creative arts when I'm supposed to be a science student? And now in this room, we are saying that we need that flexibility back. But then, which is valid, it is what is happening that is determining our talks, our conversations. And we can only keep talking about it until we get to, where we think we are really addressing the real issues. Thank you so much for that feedback.
We have an hand raised here. Online.
A hand is raised online. That's Dr. Today, she has the mic. Why is she raising her hand?
Okay, I wanted to be sure before I can talk. Thank you so much. I wanted to add on to what you said.
I thought that was a mistake. Somebody's talking here. Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
I just really wanted to react to the last comment that there is an area we are not actually overlooking in teacher education programs, which is the method classes of various subjects. The essence of the method class is to train the future teachers in 3 types of pedagogical content knowledge. We have the topic-specific, subject-specific, and discipline-specific. So the way the teachers are going through that those courses, it is structured in a way that some of them don't even give attention to it like they do to their cognate courses. If you see an average chemistry student studying education, he will be afraid of physical chemistry than chemistry method class. If both of them clash, he will prefer to attend physical chemistry course than the chemistry method class, where he be trained or she will be trained on topic specific. How do you teach electrolysis different from separation technique? What are the indigenous resources to teach? And all of those things. That area of our teacher preparation is always ignored. And the most important thing to do in that point, even if the curriculum is not flexible, is to expose the service teacher to the ingenious resources that are relevant for various topics. That means in the method class, I came in and I said, you are teaching rate of chemical reaction. And I said to the students, because that's a course I teach, I will say within the incantatory poetry of Yoruba, there is a line that says, Kontan Loro Namubi. And it's talking about the rate of combustion. Yes, in the University of Ibadan, that's where I teach. And the Igbo there too, I say, give me an alternative.
Yeah.
And I tell me about it.
Yeah.
And I said, this Konkan Loro Namubi is the Yoruba proverb that is talking about the rate of combustion. And there's enthalpy. Within the frame of our thought, we talked about enthalpy. So when the student even gets to the most local school, there is something to relate with. So even if the curriculum is not flexible, the area we have to deal with is the teacher preparation, such that within the selection of instructional materials is going beyond the epistemological norms. But we are now looking at, okay, you want to teach this topic, there's an instruction material within the epistemological south that is within the frame of the culture, and there will be a culturally responsive pedagogy for the learner. So even if because the learner is like the teacher, the future teacher is going to pick that point. So he can do what he needs with it when he's well equipped to deal with it. So even if the curriculum is not getting indigenous like it is, when it gets to the hand of the teacher who has been equipped well in teacher preparation,
Yes.
he'll be able to diversify and deal with the things so that the student can learn. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. That was succinct. I can't agree with you less that the curriculum itself cannot drive the change or cannot solve the problem. Yeah, itself, yes, on its own, cannot. The curriculum is just a tool.
It's a document.
It's a document. Let me not answer your question. Let me not get on. Yes, you can. You are the number 3, right? For what you? Wait, okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Because the problem is, yeah, because of what he said, I think I got it. I got 100%. There was a time I traveled to Spain. So it happens that that time I supposed to go to class in Spain, Valladolid University, and teach. One of the challenges I had that time is that I have to learn Spanish language. And I did that because I found out that in their university, they teach them with their language, Spanish language. Not that you will not see some that will speak English. Did you understand? Few of them speak English. Teachers speak English. But for me to tutor them, I have to learn Spanish. Because I was speaking and translating to Spanish. Like what you said, this is one of the problems we are having. We are talking about culture, indigenous knowledge, how do we preserve it? There are certain things that teacher would teach in the class. You have the right to use any method you want. Yes. That the knowledge will be transferred. Because the end product of all these things we are teaching, we are saying is that if you can't transfer the knowledge, you are total failure. The future has come, and we know the way technology is going now. Because in future will be serious problem like war. This war that escalated now. What they are using is technology. That's why somebody will stay here and just throw just something everywhere will pass. Did you understand? So as time goes on, it will continue to upgrade because we don't know what we are going to face. So we need all these Europeans. They preserve their culture, and this is why they insisted that when you come to their country, you must learn Spanish. Yeah. The same thing, Italy. I went there. I have to learn Italian. Without it, you cannot do anything. They must make you to learn their language, and they are very proud of it. So the problem we have in Africa is that we don't even have we are not proud of what we have. We don't. They are not very proud of it, and when you speak their language, they will be friendly with you. They will like, but when you tell them that you don't understand it, that is very important. Thank you. 1 minute, just 1 minute. They've not responded, and then Dr. Alabede has something to say. Go ahead, ma'am.
Thank you so much. I thought he already talked about what I wanted to say. But one thing I would also just wanted to add is like thinking about the language aspect and the content. So there is a framing that we use in the teacher preparation program that I'm in here, and that is thinking about both like content and language can be taught together. And I thought Doctor explained that already, so I wouldn't want to just start repeating things. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Somebody, before they answer, let them answer. You can now.
No, I just want to expand on what I've said. As a trained teacher, you have your method on ground to what I'm trying to say. When you prepare your lesson with any other message, you'll be able to teach it. That's your field. So when a curriculum is picked, whatever, something like that. So when you see the curriculum, you should show those aspects. For teachers are not yet experienced as well. Experience counts, method counts. Do you know? Experience will help your method. The way you deliver your first teaching is not the way you are going to deliver your teaching in the second year, 10 years, 30 years in service.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that feedback. Thank you.
So make sure
I believe we have curriculum developers in this room. And then when we are called to participate in projects that entail contributing strongly to what happens in the classroom, we should not forget these conversations. It's very important. I remember that when we did the curriculum for the Dakada Skill Center in Akwa Ibom, one of the strongest things that I brought to the group was that think of low resources. Always, that is what I would not. Entrepreneurship is secondary to me now, but then I always said it to the team that I want it to be that without computer, without electricity, because that is where they're going to use it. This should be implementable. So I hand over to our speakers. Thank you, everyone. Should we start with Dr. Aziz? Please, can you speak to your questions?
Thank you very much.
Dr. Aziz,
to answer the question, the research design used was.
We are putting it on the group.
Okay, I was trying to share earlier.
Okay.
I was trying to share it earlier, but I was disabled, so I was unable to share it.
No problem, sir. You'd have told us, sir. You are an educator. Just don't lock yourself into a box because your solution is here. Please. So go ahead, sir. Respond to your question, sir.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
You're welcome.
The research design used to employ for the study was quantitative research design using survey and multi-stage sampling procedure was using obtaining the sample and the sampling size. So concerning the influence, opinion were sought using the questionnaire as the research instrument. The entrepreneurial skills found, which were initial measures used by the study, include problem solving, innovation, technical know-how, how would a student be able to handle simple devices, and tools, machines, and equipment, if at all. Competencies in items such as and students were first competencies in terms of the acquisition or competencies of teachers. Most of the, just like you've been talking about the curriculum, curriculum is a document and which should have been appropriate once properly interpreted by the educators. In the first instance, the formulators are usually not rich educators or a mixture of them in which they would just impose it into the classroom. A second factor has to do with the fact that many of our principals really do not know how to interpret the curriculum, and so once transferred to the teachers, it's a bit difficult. But the problem encountered in this study was that many of the entrepreneurship education teachers were not actually trained in entrepreneurship education, were gathered from other fields or sister fields. Such as home economics, vocational training, education, whereas it should be the intuition, the innovation, the creativity aspect of these subjects that should be taken. The study also found that out of the 34 students, many of the schools did take or offer subjects in which students are pushed to such subjects without considering their interest and that automatically reduce the understanding or the level of interest in that. And so that teachers are certified, but most of them are not qualified to take entrepreneurship subjects. Some will have agricultural science background, but they are the one taking animal husbandry, they are the one taking some other concepts in entrepreneurship subjects in one or two other schools where that is taking place. In terms of infrastructure, the study found availability of entrepreneurship education, but most schools lack entrepreneurship studios. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much for that response. I'm back to you, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. The question is role of parents in supporting indigenous knowledge. May I say that one of the limitations presently to indigenous knowledge is has to do with acceptance. Acceptance, particularly among parents or Nigerians generally. You see, we are in a situation where we feel or we think that everything's Western, it means good or civilized, and or something, superlative, superior as well. And may I also say this, that it will be difficult actually to convince an average market woman, you understand, who has awards in public primary schools, that what you want to start pumping into their head, will be maybe teaching indigenous knowledge. That is likely, they already have a mentality that, oh, if my children should be able to speak English, they'll be able to, have this kind of Western, they believe everything in education is Western. You understand? So when you are coming up with this concept, they are thinking you want to put their child or their children at a disadvantage. Yeah. And they will be looking at you and say, and you so you like you can speak English and you say you want to be teaching that is likely to arise. That what do you think you are doing? You are trying to educate because they feel that it is when the child is able to speak, English and everything, that is when they are educated. Not knowing that, education in itself has to do with the relevance of what you are learning to sustaining or cultivating, the potentials that you have in your environment. So that on its own is a serious limitation. And I have used the market woman as an example, but we have a situation where even those who are educated, we have parents who are proud to say my child cannot speak Yoruba. And unfortunately, I hope such a person is not in this room. You understand? So we need this is an orientation problem. And so as we are learning, we need to come out of that thinking or that mindset where we do not see the things that belong to us or things that has to do with indigenous knowledge as fetish or as local or as traditional and unacceptable to the Western world. Recently, you will know that a lot of money, a lot of people, a lot of funds are allocated to people coming to Nigeria to learn Yoruba. Yeah. China are coming, or the Chinese are coming, and the Americans are coming to several of our African institutes to come and learn our language. The very language that our own children cannot speak. And if proper care is not taken, in just a matter of decades, you will be going back, we'll be going back to learn those things, and we'll be learning it at
second language.
Yeah.
Even more expensive. I'm even talking in terms of money. They'll be using us to make money. Yeah. You understand? So it will be more exorbitant, it will be more expensive when we go back to learn it there. So I think it's a matter of orientation where we need to come up, begin to accept ourselves as we are. And I love what Sister said the other time. Yeah. One of the things she said, see, let's talk to ourselves. When we talk about indigenous education, we cannot take language away from it. No. Yeah. We cannot take language away. Our culture, our way of life, who we are, they are ingrained in how we feel in our language. So for when we talk about indigenous education, one of the two that must drive it, you understand, just like internet drives technology, it is language that will drive indigenous education. So I think that's what I have.
Yeah, I wanted to appreciate your comments and particularly about market movement and just even parents in general. But I want to challenge us a bit to not give up on parents because you'll be very surprised that you actually have co-conspirators and allies who want this stuff. But we have to also be very cognizant of our framing, because their concerns are very legitimate because they see
Essential.
exactly what they see is that people who look for something
English,
exactly have sudden,
transformation, economic
advantage.
advantage.
Yeah.
So they also have to see the value in them. But we have to communicate things in a way whereby they actually understand.
That's right.
And the data conversation you gave about people coming in, that is a prime example. Share àwọn tó àwọn ìbò tẹ̀ rí lẹ́ẹ̀dí ọ̀dọ̀ ẹni Ìbàdàn. Tẹ̀wọ́n tó ti wá ṣé China kọ́ tó bá kọ́ lélẹ́yìí o, èdè tẹ̀ fẹ́ kọ́ àwọn ọmọ yín. Tó dẹ̀ ń ṣe pẹ̀lú èdè because it's a very, very, very strategic thing. What happened is that you wonder who owns the land. Who owns, because the language is not connected to the land. Do we own our land? No. Our land is owned by corporations. Our land is owned by people who are not Nigerians or even Africans. We do not own land or factories in their countries. They own land in our country. And the way they can be able to negotiate with government and create like false allies is through the language. Language and marriages. We're not going to get into that conversation. But anyway, so we have to be very, very cognizant of how we also frame to different sectors of society because everybody needs different messaging strategy, right? Yeah, but you cannot dismiss the parent because you will not be successful if the parents are not involved in it. Our care people doesn't have to be the parent, but the person who is caring for the child or whatever, or the children.
Mind that.
Absolutely, and not everyone is going to be just like you said. You guys are educators, right? They're not, but you guys are also very innovative. So what are those ways? How about you bring the parent to the classroom to also leave conversation about absolutely. Yeah. You bring them to the classroom. Whatever what they do is I'm making this up. They have very specific ways of integrating soil matter into whatever. Let the father, let the mother, let the auntie come to the classroom to give an example. Let them do it. You have a translator for whether it's people in the classroom, outside team, whatever. Translate those things while that parent is there. So they can also see the value in that. Yeah. And let's also uplift their own agency. Exactly. Right? So it goes really both ways. So please do not dismiss us as parents. Very much interested in this kind of thing.
Thank you so much.
I will start from
Actually, I wish the reaction is that's Doctor. I saw her, she's a Yoruba. She's an advocate. A very strong advocate of the language. I wish I had met her about 6 years ago. I'm the girl who was born in the UK, became an orphan, and had to move down to Nigeria with their family. She got admission to study Yoruba. Did you hear what I said? She was already a UK citizen. Admission to study Yoruba, and there was nothing I could say. They denied her studying that. I said, what? Do you know what you are missing? But then there was, I wish I had somebody to come, to hold her hand. If I had Auntie Yetunde's hand that time, I'll hold her hand and say, oh no, yes, lower, Yoruba don't call, but I didn't have anybody at that time. So she's studying now. I think she's gone back.
You want to say something?
Yeah. You want to say something? She's gone back. But then there's a lot we are losing when you are keeping the locals out. I like LSA. Like the kind of people we are bringing in. It's not about research alone. It's not about speaking English alone. It's about what's Africa, what's our identity, what are we bringing to the world. I was like she said, Allah Majeka disappear. You know. So after today.
Thank you so much. I think I just wanted to also add something. Everything. I appreciate what everybody said. But I wanted to add also, I don't know if it has been said, but like the role of parents is also very, very important. And I know Dr. Dauda said that earlier. And the reason is because, yes, we keep talking about curriculum. When I hear curriculum, I hear it beyond being a package or a product. I hear curriculum as a process as well. And Pinar talks about it like, okay, what are some of the things? Who are the people people we consult. So maybe when we think about policymakers now, parents and everybody needs to be involved. Why am I talking about parents? Some parents will tell you, hey, Emma said you buy some mommy. Oh, then Nigeria. We want to be more whiter than the whites. We want to be more Catholic than the Pope. Where is that coming from? And I remember why I said the role of parents also is, last year, I was at Salado with my daughter, and somebody was like, kilo de so you buy some to fine buy. Then I was asking, so people that are ugly, we are the ones that should be speaking our indigenous language. What does that mean? So I think that as teachers make all the efforts in the classroom, teachers, we may want to involve parents as well, because we cannot do it alone. And maybe some of us that have the power to be as policymakers to see how they can involve them as well. That's what I want to say. We're talking about Yoruba language teaching session. I'm not doing method, it's just the toolkit that I've used when I'll be presenting. I just wanted to mention that.
Thank you, Dr. Exide. We have our own technical person has a contribution. I think he deserves a clap. So for that, because if he us, we will be stranded.
So I'm concerned about the parents being part of the educational system, and how the teacher as well can always use the teaching assessments to like assignments to get the parents involved in like possibly passing through. Of course, I'm also of course I won't say I'm a teacher anymore, but I taught for like 11 years before I come into the poly. So when I'm teaching history, I teach history. So, and what I do is that I will send some assignments down home to the parents, more or less like, okay, what's about your family history? Can you just share a bit of your family history with your children, so that at least the children can now at least talked about it in class. So in that way, I'm more or less not only passing my message across to the students, but also getting the parents involved in what I'm teaching the students or the pupil. So in that way, in the case of language or in the case of indigenous language like Yoruba and things like that, these are stuffs that, of course, the children can take on or can answer some of these questions, but we need the parents to guide. So in that way, we are more or less incorporating the parents in that system. Thank you.
Valid. That's valid. Thank you so much for that brilliant insight. Can this be adopted in the university?
Yes. Why not? It's done in India.
I know.
Indians, they are proud to speak both English and their language. You see them speaking, entering English and entering their language at the same time. And they are not apologetic about it.
And they'll start not speaking like British.
I think
Nigerian.
what education is.
Yeah.
I think that's the
Yeah, education is not English.
It's not English. Because there was a time, there was the colonial time, education was going on.
Yeah.
So the point is that within the box of education to the kind of people that we are discussing, they believe that the language, even if they, in fact, to tell you their misconception, they appreciate fluency than accuracy. Even the fluency, and there is no agreement between the texts. Now, wave agreement is missing. You understand what I'm saying? That to tell you the depth of that deprivation. So the point is that there should be a sensitization on what does it mean to be educated. And the element of language of the society is a compulsory one within that set. So if it's not, it's like there's no steering and we have every other thing in the car. And you want to move the car. It's not a driverless one. So we have the steering. I'm not on my thing. So the point is that And let's say the radio show somebody organizes for local people as they did for HIV, that what is really education in the context of culture? We are saying people that the box of education that we are passing to the next generation, the language must be that box, along with other skills like morals and all of those things. Thank you.
It's actually mentioning the first slide in my presentation on Saturday. How do we define it? That's culturally, I'm defining entrepreneurially. And that's, I mean, if we begin to understand what it is to us to be educated here, then I think things will get better. We have two last commenters, then you have you, and then
go on. I'm really excited about this panel. This is my favorite panel so
thank you.
Because it's very practical, to make that, and I wanted to share something that I do in my classroom. So I do teach university students at UMass Boston in the honors college. So the information I talk about, the information about when you take assignments home. So I did the same thing too. And the students are allowed to write in whatever language they want to write about. Absolutely, because we have students from various demographic backgrounds. And that's how I also do my cosmology and my pedagogy when I'm teaching, because I understand the concept of culture, the thing, the school system, and I understand what it means to be not seen, marginalized, particularly with language, So it's very important. So there are ways to be creative about it. It's not like we're going to tell them that they're going to stop learning. They have to learn English, they have to learn Russian, they have to but the primacy is their indigenous language, whatever it is. Sometimes not even developed. The orthography is not developed. How do I bring it to the class so that you feel seen and heard? Right? So they can do the assignments verbally because there's different literacy level, right?
Yes.
And we cannot do so somebody can actually speak and write and do everything in Yoruba, but English. And that is excellent. And we have to celebrate that. You understand? So, like, just because you don't speak quote unquote English, maybe they're illiterate, right? So we have to also let that part of that socialization is understanding the difference between what it means to be educated and what that means. So I think that perhaps maybe the next year, by the case of the ancestors, that we are able to have another panel on that conversation, sensitization, but this is something that is very important for the nation.
Yeah, thank you. As a matter of fact, as I said, you were reading my mind. Dr. Alabede, I was already trying to think about the theme for next year because he mentioned methods, and that's significant for all disciplines. And then you are mentioning, said something about in terms of culture and so on. So I hope you
parental involvement.
Yes, parental involvement and stakeholders.
Absolutely.
Yes. So we can have. I can imagine the feedback you got when you told students in the class to write in their language. Parents will come and look at you. I want to see that teacher or that lecturer.
You read all of that? You have to ask. That's what
about that. It's about that because my teaching, the way I teach and my everybody's have different methods of
teaching. Exactly.
I cannot learn from each other. I can learn a lot.
Well learning, yes. Well learning.
But the fact that in the classroom have the power and that agency to be able to come and show me something, and then now let me know what it means to you. Because I have to teach yourself. Absolutely, and I'm assignment. And some of the assignment what I call, customer technology. Like the first thing, your first assignment is tell me, how do you know what you know? Who are you in relation to the world? And how do you know what you know? Once you know that, and the way they do that, you see that story to their family, their grandparents, whatever it is, or even themselves. Like, who are you? Who are you? Like, what makes you? What makes you? So that's the first question. And the first video, my part is the video on what is it? The single story, right? I don't know if the TED Talk. They watch that and because that actually they're very surprised, but it's really important. What's the name of it? I'll get it. Okay, I'm messing with her. Okay, I can get. Yeah. So yes, I mean it's your classroom. It's just like you said, so the point is a paper, but you have the flexibility to incorporate and integrate. They don't have to know. The government doesn't have to know what you do. You're not what's it called? You're not brainwashing the students. So
meeting a national standard.
Yeah. So you have as teachers, I feel like you guys are like the best thing that can ever happen. Seriously, I'm so serious. But it's underpaid, undervalued. But it's incredible that you actually have the power to do many things that other people cannot do. But you need allies and you need co-conspirators.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm happy to, yes, it's closing up for us. I want to read this out. We are closing up for us. I want to add that that's from Aziz, that teaching and learning should be encompassing of the pedagogy and
pedagogical content.
Of the pedagogy, encompassing of the pedagogy and pedagogical content alone. It should be methodical, but requires teachers to be timed, trained to have the depth of the novelty in the field. Besides, the review of the content of each subject is important and should be regularly done at specific intervals or paradigms. I can't, for paradigms shift, I can't agree less. I can't agree less on this. Regular review is important. But then I like to add that we must not wait for the government to review by yourself. Because the speed at which things are happening, it's so, is it jets? Not even jets. It's not jet speed, very fast. So we have to catch up.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you for the privilege given to me. Sorry, I was not here when the paper was presented, but from this course, I could get one or two things, concerning what you'll be discussing. And well, I don't want to sound mean, but I've been speaking too much English as far as I'm concerned. I'm still speaking. We speak too much English. How much practicality have we been able to put into this thing? You tell me, who are the people involved? Next year, that's why I decided to talk, because we said there's a team next year. Let's focus on number one, how do we get in touch with the teachers? How to get in touch with the school? How to get in touch with the parents? Because all these things we just write them in paper, we submit, we put up each other. Who reads them? We.
No implementation.
Who reads them? We have the same people that read them. They don't read them. They'll still do the same thing. They'll continue to do the same thing year in, year out. I will continue to speak English year in, year out. You understand me? So, that's why I said sorry. I don't want to sound mean. So because we had a training at where I work at in Abeokuta, on teachers where a parent, enrolled a student in a school and they said, why using Yoruba to teach or indigenous language to teach? But the text is even in the policy that you can use language to teach. Yeah. Any graders tells, no, you're depriving my child. I put the child from the school because the person is capable. I took the child to a school where they speak English. And that's the reason why, you understand me, like PTA gathering, we can use that as a menu. Or maybe we go to schools, because this is the way we orient them. All this English we are speaking is still among ourselves. Let's go straight to the bottom line.
Is it possible for you? I'm not a Yoruba boy, but I speak Yoruba fluently. My paper was on Odada, Tifigi, Udani. Not to even speak English at all.
I'm enjoying that topic, the conversation already.
I let's see that the discussion will be on indigenous language, Yoruba. Let us come and speak Yoruba. Let us see how fluent, even we that want to speak Yoruba, how fluent. When we are inviting, when we invite teachers,
people, this is an opportunity. They can, and they are here. The people that will form that panel are here. Because, we saw that there's a gap in teaching innovation. Because we came up with this panel, and we have you here. What makes it impossible for Yorubas or Hausas or Igbo to say, in this place, it's indigenous knowledge we are bringing in, and we are not even speaking any other language. We're using our songs, our proverbs, everything to communicate.
Why? It is called Lagos Studies Association, not International Studies Association. Lagos is
Sister Fesoro,
courses.
I don't know.
I like that Ankara one too for me.
Sorry, I want to spend my life before the forget.
Sister!
Immaculate.
Thank you so much for coming, everybody. Auntie Dauda!
Hello.
Dr. Dauda, I sent messages to you.